Hi, thank you for tuning into my vlog, which regarding my upgrade progress for my Stumpjumper Alloy. There's about 4 I've done recently, though unfortunately I have not been able to get onto the trails to really test this bike out due to the COVID restrictions in Sydney. We're into a 10-week lockdown at the moment, though I was able to get a bit of a ride just before that lockdown occurred. One of those upgrades that I did was my pedals. I've moved to a brand called Jet Black alloy pedals. They're a 94mm wide pedal by 92mm long, quite short, but at this point no problems. Over the couple of months I've been riding, I was clipping a few trees and not ending up in a good position, so I've trimmed those bars down from 780mm to a 760mm, and that seemed to help a lot. I've upgraded my grips to a brand called Race Face, and the product is called a Love Handle. It's a concave shape and your hands can tuck in left and right, so it just gives it that really snug feel. The actual rubber or whatever compound they use is quite soft and it's got a nice grip to it. The channels help with in summer when you get those sweaty hands to get the moisture away from the grips, and at this point it's been no problems. I quite like them. My next upgrade, which I think is probably the most important to tell you the truth, I've changed from the SX derailleur to a GX derailleur. And really, I think if you're going to make a change, this is the one to do. Definitely get rid of the SX derailleur and just go with the GX. What I did find the issue with the SX derailleur is that we would constantly have to tune it. Whether it was me coming off and bending it, but either way I had to tune so many times. And it just wouldn't hold gear in the middle range. I was getting to a point where it was just frustrating climbing any hills. It would slip out of gears every time. But since I've had this on, this new GX derailleur, absolutely confidence is good. I have no doubt this thing's going to hold gear as I climb. So this is the strongest point on why you should upgrade to the GX derailleur. I really like these brakes. So I made an upgrade on the brakes, both front and rear, using the Dior or the Dior, depending on how you want to pronounce that, the M6120 model, which is the 4-piston version of that. It's actually a quite on or off brake. Basically it means very short travel to it grabs and stops really quick. So when you first put them on, they're quite a little bit nerve-wracking compared to the Tektro, which is a much softer engagement. It took a long pull of the brake lever before she grabbed. It was a nice soft pull-up, but I just thought in quick pull-ups I don't particularly think that's a really great idea. Admittedly, this is the entry-level model of it. It is part of Shimano's premium XTR and XT products, just the more down spec, but basically the pull-up power is an amazing what I've discovered on these brakes so far, and really not that expensive compared to the next range, so it's a great way to move into that area. So I'm quite happy with these brakes, and I think it's yeah, we'll see how we go. So taking up mountain biking just before I turned 60 years of age, I spent most of my years surfing, and now moving into the city, took a little bit of mountain biking, which is probably a crazy sport to do when you're a good hour away from any decent track. But as the addiction happens, you start to get to enjoy the whole sport, as to call it. And there's a fine line between fun and fear, and the more you do, the more relaxed you become, the more you start to enjoy. So now, just about turning 61, I definitely love this sport. So definitely not as fast as what most people can do, but I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, and my journey I'm really loving and learning as I go along. And it's certainly one of those things. Now, with the 4 upgrades I've done, from the pedals to the derailleur to the brakes, definitely I think it's quite worth it. But whether or not I stay on this path and stick with this particular bike or move to something more is where I'm starting to really question. One of the problems I'm really have with this particular bike, and it's nothing to do with the bike, it's the frame size for me. It's probably 1 to 1.5 size bigger than I really want. So at this point in time I enjoy the bike, but yeah, just having fun doing what I do. For the life of me, I could not figure out where this clicking noise comes on this video. I had to use this video because I haven't been able to get on the tracks to show any these things, only just city park riding. But the only thing that I did different on this video than I normally do is I had the camera upside down, just testing different angles out. Why this happened is no settings were changed. It's definitely not me changing gears. It's something that I cannot explain what this is. So I apologize for that clicking noise, but yeah, that's